Welcome back to the channel. My name is Tefty. Today we're going to take a look at MPC Update 2.8 and specifically the Midi functionality. I have yet to dig into it, so this is going to be fresh for me. And I also want to ask the question, is it truly a game changer? Because already the MPC platform is great for sequencing instruments and doing jams and all that. But now with 2.8, you'll be able to plug in all your synths and all that with USB connections and use the Midi that way. And so you'll completely forego any 5-DIN pin MIDI jack port type of stuff. Potentially make your studio routing a lot more simple if the MPC is the main hub. Or if you like to just connect a bunch of stuff for a jam and not have to worry about all the MIDI jack plugin and all that. What I've done in the past is taken the MIDI out and daisy chained gear, or actually use splitters. I have a couple splitters that I use to have a couple pieces. Typically I only use like maybe 5 or 6 instruments at the most. Usually bass, drum, keys type of thing, and then samples from either MPC One or even the Digitone. Digitone is actually my alternate. In fact, I plan on doing a video about Digitone versus MPC One, which might sound weird because they're very different platforms. There's actually quite a few similarities that I use for jams, so I'm planning on making a video about that sometime in the future. Looking at the MPC One right here, we do have Update 2.8 already installed on here. And again, I haven't actually made a jam or anything with the new software. So this will be kind of a first dive. Let's do a new project right here. So fresh project. First thing that we're gonna do is plug in a USB hub. I got a 7-port hub that I bought off of Amazon from Sabrent Technology, or Sabrent is the company. It's been working for my PC. We're gonna plug it into the MPC One and see if it works. That's step number 1 right there. Okay, so that's plugged in. So we got 7 jacks total that we can work with. First thing that I always do is use the KeyStep from Arturia. Now, a quick note about the KeyStep. I was able to plug the KeyStep in directly into the MPC One via USB beforehand and be able to play the keys. Now, it would not recognize the output port from the Arturia. It wouldn't say anything about the Arturia in the system. It did recognize MIDI signal originally, just from one connection. Using the first port, okay. And that powered up, that's a good sign. And we've got MIDI in right there, whoops. See that, we got MIDI in going in. So technically, yeah. So the USB hub is working, that's great. I'll leave a link in the description for this particular hub in case you're wondering about it. Let's actually see if we can find the Arturia here. MIDI port right here. There it is, Arturia KeyStep 32 MIDI. So that is great. This is like one of the big changes that they did was they allowed it so when you plug in a USB instrument, it shows up and supposedly has the proper names and all that. As you can see, Arturia KeyStep 32 MIDI. Okay, so step 1, plug in a first instrument. It worked, great. Now let's plug in some other stuff. A couple weeks ago, I did a jam with the OP1, and the OP1 was especially annoying because I had to actually route the MIDI through my PC and then route that MIDI out through MIDI jacks to be able to actually get the MPC One to sequence it. So I had to jump through hoops. It was a pain in the ass. Let's plug in the OP1 and see what happens. Okay, jack number 2. Now let's turn it on. I'm using the speaker, by the way, so the sound is gonna be crappy. All right, same thing, MIDI. Let's check the ports. OP1 MIDI device, MIDI 1. That is fantastic. So, oh yeah, let's see, what MIDI channel is this? It's 4. I had it set up on 4 for some reason. So as you can see, I have the Arturia plugged into a hub, which is connected to the MPC One, and then the OP1 is connected to the hub as well. Connected to the MPC One, it's all talking to each other. Fantastic. Obviously, there's no audio information being shared over the network. In fact, my biggest feature request right now for the MPC One is to be able to plug in an audio interface as well into this USB jack. I mean, that would be perfect because then I could have 8 outs. That's my biggest gripe right now is I only have 1 stereo out on the MPC One. If I had, I mean, like the Live is attractive because it has 2 additional stereo outs, but it's also nearly twice the amount of cache. It's also, I believe, twice the size. And I actually like the layout of the MPC One better, for me personally. I like the footprint, I like how many buttons are here and all this stuff, whereas the MPC Live is definitely, it's a different MPC. So yeah, future requests, really wish I could just plug in a USB device, USB audio interface, and have additional outputs. All right, so the OP1 worked, that's great. Let's plug in some more stuff. Okay, so we got this guy right here. Let's get some power going. MIDI jack. You know, I've like stuffed all my USB cables in a box because I hardly ever use USB because I'm typically doing like a mostly DAW-less hybrid type of setup. And then when I get the jam or the groove how I like it, then I just record it into the PC for, or the DAW for later use. That's typically been my workflow, but this opens up some different possibilities. Okay, let's go MIDI ports. Model D MIDI 1. Let's get some audio out of this. 7, MIDI channel 7. Working beautifully off of this. You know, the other thing that's really nice is that you can actually just set the MIDI channel to your preferred MIDI channel on this stuff and not worry about overlap on this because it's all routed through USB. So you don't have to be like, oh yeah, what's the bass always gonna be on 3, 4, whatever. Like you could just have everything be channel 1 if you want, or 2 or 3, and then just go to the device in here. That's nice. We should probably get audio for the OP1 and then also hook up some other stuff. Maybe Electron gear. Maybe I'll hook up a Digitone. Okay, so we got the Digitone right here. Let's turn it on. USB cable. USB device is not supported. Fascinating. Let's see what we have. Maybe I have it set up as Overbridge. Oh yeah, Overbridge. Let's go MIDI. Let's see, did that fix it actually? Yeah, it did. Okay, nice. So if you have your device set up as Overbridge, it will just say, what are you doing? Now let's do this. We also need to plug in some audio. So we're definitely getting audio in there. Channel 1, 2, 3. Maybe I don't have the channel set up on here. Let's see, MIDI config, channels. Track 1, 2, 3, and 4 have been turned off because of how I've routed stuff. So let's go track 1, 2, 3, and MIDI channel 4. So now, each one of these should work. Oh, hold up. My KeyStep is not sending signal anymore. Do I have to unplug? I wonder, let's do that. Unplug. I'm definitely getting Arturio signal again. Let's go back to the Model D. Channel 7. Model D is working. Okay, so let's go back to the Digitone. Let's go channel 1. This is what channel 1 sounds like on Digitone. But I'm not getting any MIDI. This is legit behind the scenes of setting up almost every jam where something inevitably is not communicating and working. Port config maybe? Oh, I have this set up on MIDI. Input, USB MIDI. There it was an Electron configuration. Let's go with this. I actually like this Chapit patch a lot. So, MIDI channel 2. That works, great. What does 3 sound like? Will pluck sound? I gotta say, I really like the sound of the Digitone. It's just, it has character to it. Its synth engine is really nice. 4 is a default patch sound. So let's find out. Does that work? So that's working. Awesome. I think, oh yeah, I want to see if the transport feature works. So this is currently 120. Let's go like 90. It's not working on here, so maybe I need to set this up. Oh, actually, first, let's go Preferences, Electron, Sync. So now it should send sync info to the Digitone. So that is one thing you do have to keep in mind. You gotta jump through some menus to make sure certain things are getting the signals that they need. It's working now. Also, I have some track stuff already in here. That is great. You know, one thing though, I wanted to see the timing. So the number on here is wavering back and forth between 89.8 and 90.1. for the clock. 90.2 actually on there. It seems like a bigger variance than when it's directly connected to another electron box. Usually it's just 0.1 that's a variance on there. Another thing that I noticed when I've tried out Overbridge and I did a jam with it actually. It was actually really good, surprising. And I noticed that the clock from Overbridge when it was connected to Ableton was rock solid from what I remember. Like it didn't vary at all. And I was really surprised by that. It kind of made me go, huh, using Overbridge to connect with the Midi and connect stuff up and have like a Digitact or a Digitone or something like that be the master clock for your hardware ended up making a really solid sync. I was hoping that the USB connection was going to be super solid on there. So yeah, not as stable as I wanted it to be over USB. I mean, I don't think it's going to be a problem for me working this way. Like I could definitely see myself grabbing an MPC One, grabbing a bunch of pieces of gear and just connecting it this way. I don't think that's going to be an issue, but it would be nice to have a super solid clock coming from just straight USB. It doesn't appear that that's going to be happening. After I recorded the video, I checked up on the Digitone stuff with Overbridge, and it was definitely interesting. So if you plug the Digitone via USB into the PC, and then connect it to Ableton via the USB MIDI stuff, and then clock it, there's a huge variance. I mean, it swings heavily. It goes like sometimes 0.5 negative to 0.5 positive on 90 BPM, whereas the MPC one was swinging 0.2 negative to 0.2 positive. However, and this is huge, when you load up the Overbridge plugin in Ableton Live and you clock it that way, you allow the clock signal and the transport stuff all to happen in Ableton Live through the Overbridge plugin of the Digitone or Digitact, whatever instrument you're using, it is rock solid. I mean, it does not waver from 90 BPM whatsoever. So if you want a super solid clocking solution and you already have an Electron device that has Overbridge supported, then use the Overbridge plugins inside your DAW and you will have a rock solid clock right there. Rock solid clock. All right, let's grab one more piece of gear. I'm thinking the DrumBrute Impact. Get some power. So if we hit start, there's no clock info. Let's go preferences, outputs, Arteria Drum Impact, sync. No sync, because we gotta go here. Let's go USB, sync. Okay, interesting. I was like, where the hell's sound coming from? I don't have this plugged in yet. It looks like it's actually coming from, or not. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is Digitone that's playing that. Yeah, the Digitone for some reason is triggering sounds. So this is actually sending MIDI out, and that's receiving it as well. Oh, you know what? I think it's because I have this receiving everything. Yeah, you see MIDI input from all ports. So you gotta watch out about that too. That's a little gotcha moment right there. Let's go KeyStep. Yeah, and now this is not sending MIDI out. So interestingly, what you could do is program some sequences on an Electron device. Let's make this look a little bit better here. So yeah, you could technically have different sequencers going that could go into MPC One and then route to other pieces of gear, which I think that is pretty cool. Again, what you're doing right here is eliminating a whole bunch of MIDI cables. So MIDI ins, outs, through ports and all that stuff. You're supposedly getting rid of some delay. I mean, I would think that's the case. I haven't actually tested it, so I can't say with 100% clarity that that's for sure what's happening, but it appears that that would happen with the USB routing type of stuff. You're basically just using USB cables to route the MIDI, eliminating MIDI cables, and being able to have the MPC One be like the conductor, where it's taking, it's sending, receiving, all that stuff. You can have all the sequencing on the MPC One, or you can have other devices sequence and route the MIDI through the MPC One. All right, we plugged in audio from the DrumBrute Impact, and now we're plugging audio into the OP1, so it goes through the board. And that's working, great. Is that working? Yeah. Now again, you see the numbers fluctuating right here. So again, the clock isn't like rock solid audio rate clock. but at least everything's connecting and happy. By the sounds of it anyways. So technically I have 2 more ports left on my MIDI hub right here. I mean, this is already quite a few instruments. We got 4 instruments hooked up, plus the MPC One, which can do all of that stuff with the synthesizers and sampling and all that. And a quick note on routing, I do have this plugged into my Mackie board, and then the additional bus 1 and 2 is routed into the input, so I could technically flip one of those switches to be able to send any of the audio of these guys into the sampler of the MPC One to do some sampling and routing and all that. Shall we make a jam out of all this gear? I think we should. We need to route a few things here. We need an OP1 channel and a Model D channel. The DrumBrute Impact is just going to be drums and its own sequencer, so I'm not going to mess with that. The Digitone, I'll need to send MIDI info to it, but I might keep the sequencer. You know, I think I'm going to keep the Digitone as a module, sound module. So we got OP1, let's edit that so we know it's the OP1. Okay, do that, great. Now we need another track. It's also going to be MIDI, the Model D, which needs to be channel 7. I might have to tune that. Let's do that actually. Alright, let's change this to bass, and then track 3 I guess will be Digitone. Well, we have 4 channels, so we might have to have 4, if we use all 4 channels. I don't know if I'm going to do that. So the port, Electron Digitone. I mean, we could just use one sound, because technically there's only 8 voices. If we do like a lush pad sound or something. Uh-oh. Oh, that's right. Huh, I wonder if you could set this up to where the default MIDI input is always one of these other, like the Arturia KeyStep. If you know, leave a comment. Let me know if you know how to fix that, because that could actually get annoying. Because now I have to do that on all these. I'd be like, no, not all port. Arturia KeyStep, please. Although I could actually just say the DrumBrute Impact does not send any info, any MIDI info. It only receives. That's another like hack that you could do. So you can go into here. You could say inputs. You could take the DrumBrute Impact track off so it does not send any info into the MPC One. That could be the way to do it, actually. Yeah, I might rock that. Ooh, that distortion though. Where have you been? Let's mute this. Wait, that's not it? Oh, it's that, the harmonics. It's piercing my ear. Alright, so this is the Digitone. Let's make another track. So we have Digitone track 2. We'll go DT2 on here. MIDI channel 2, and then Electron Digitone. Great. What do we want here? This lead is always nice. Alright, so we got 2 tracks of Digitone. We want the OP1 to be doing. I don't know if that's gonna work, let's see. Okay, that's actually pretty cool. I like that. Alright, now that we got that, let's go to the bass. Also, there's that new feature. What is it? Do I hit shift record? Ew, look at that! It remembered what I played. That's cool. I used to use this feature all the time when I was in Logic Pro. There was a remember what you last played feature. Oh crap, look at that. Interesting. In Logic Pro there was a remember what you just played feature after you hit stop. I would use that all the time. In fact, I never hit the record button because I was always just, oh yeah, I like that idea. Let's grab that, and then I'd trim up whatever fat that I didn't want and make the stuff. I feel like I kind of crutched on it a little too much personally. Sometimes I do stumble on some ideas that I wish I had recorded, so it's nice to have that feature. Now, Interestingly, because the OP1 is sending that, is doing that arpeggio, it's sending that MIDI data back in, and so it captured it. Obviously unusable without scrubbing out a whole bunch of stuff. So let's hit undo. Undo again. Undo. Okay, yeah, I had to do a few undos. So inputs from the OP1. No thanks. In fact, maybe we should just do this. Like, Model D, I'm definitely not going to want any inputs. The Digitone, no thanks. And I just want from the KeyStep. Yeah. Now, I'm pretty sure it's going to remember these settings next time I plug in these devices. If it doesn't, that's a shame. Okay, so we got some nice fat bass going on right there. Now, let's go back over to the Digitone. So Digitone 1. Maybe this should be a melody line. Let's give it a very big verb. Like that. So technically, shift, record. Huh? It's still playing all that. It grabbed all that MIDI information. Weird. And the MIDI input is only the KeyStep as well. Is that a bug? Yep, it's still doing it. It grabbed every piece of MIDI information that's being sent out. Well, that's too bad. I don't know, again, I don't know if it's a bug or if I'm missing something obvious. If you know, leave me a comment. Maybe we can clear this up. But seems like hooking all this MIDI stuff up is saying, yo, there's a bunch of MIDI. Let's just capture all the MIDI that's happening, which is unfortunate. All right, well, let's record this because I actually like what's going on here. Was it that? Okay, so now let's go track mutes. And go like this. So we can kill the bass or the drums. So overall, if we did bass, let's grab this melody line. Grab the OP1. Is it not sending info? I don't think the OP1's getting MIDI at times. See? Weird. Why would it be that way? Let's look at the MIDI. So it's starting on the grid. Did it end? Like, maybe it doesn't like things running into it like that for the sequencer? Let's give it a definite end. You know, maybe it was going over, actually. That could have been it. Let's find out. So let's take this off. Take off the Digitone, same thing. And bring the Digitone in. I mean the OP1. Appears to be working out. It stopped. So I don't know if that is just a software bug with the OP1 or something going on with the MPC. Yeah, but I don't know. That's weird. It seems like everything else is working though, so that's good. And honestly, the OP1 is more of like it's kind of like its own device in my opinion when I'm working with it. I do like its sounds a lot, so sometimes it's nice to be able to grab it and grab some stuff off of it. All in all, I gotta say I'm pretty happy with the USB connection setup type of things that are going on here. I think it's pretty slick. If you have an MPC that can run the latest software, I definitely suggest checking it out and seeing what's up with it, because it's pretty cool just being able to plug in via USB and then go. My biggest criticisms, again, of the MPC One right now is the lack of additional outputs, and you can't augment that with another audio interface. I really feel like that wouldn't be a problem for Akai to allow that, because it's like, well, if you have a $400 interface that you already bought a few years ago, why not allow the MPC One to connect to it to be able to use that stuff? It's not like that's gonna reduce any interest of owning a Live or a Live 2, because that's a self-contained box in and of itself. You have one device, you got everything. If you have another audio interface, you have to deal with another thing that you have to connect and all that. So it's more of like, it's a nicety to be able to allow the MPC One to connect to those and have additional stuff. I digress, that's not what this video is about. The Midi features are great, and honestly, it's a little weird that they weren't in the software to begin with, because it's 2020, man. USB or Midi 2.0 is going to be coming out pretty soon. The USB stuff has been out for a long time, and it's kind of crazy that it's taken this much time for the software to catch up to be able to actually get to the point where you can plug in multiple pieces via USB on that. In fact, I was surprised to learn that wasn't the case originally when I got the MPC One. I was like, oh, weird. It didn't really bother me, because I like using the Midi cable still and jacking things through Midi through and all that. And I know that there's latency to introduce, but when you keep it nice and concise, it's fun to just chain some Midi and have a go. MPC 2.8, I think it's good. It's definitely a huge step in the right direction. Don't know what's up with that record feature. Hopefully they fix that. Maybe that's just a weird bug that happened, or maybe I just don't know some sort of setting that's grabbing everything. That could be the case as well. But yeah, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit the like button and sub to the channel if you're new. Ring that bell as well for notifications when we drop new videos. Got lots more content planned for you guys in the future. Really, really excited to do more stuff. If you want to support the channel further, you can always stream our music on Spotify. Just search Tefty Meems, and also check out our Instagram. We're posting stories, photos, all that stuff. And you can always check out our Bandcamp as well, where we do have a couple records. All right, and that's it. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time for another video. Deuces.